Whew, we're back with another video. It's been about 12 months since I posted a YouTube video, and in the 12 months a lot has changed, such as moving over from Hawaii to Las Vegas, switching from Canon to Sony. As you guys can tell, I'm in a new office, working on putting up decor, putting up wall art and all that stuff. But I was actually gonna wait to make this video till everything's finished, but I was like, you know what, why wait? I should just put up a tripod, put up a light, and just start filming. And that's what I'm going to be doing today. But today we're going to be talking about the Sony A7S III, but not really much about the specs of the camera or much into detail about the camera, but more just my experience using it over the past 12 months, coming from a Canon user, taking it from events to festivals to weddings, and really pushing this camera to its limits and going over some of the pros and cons. Some of the things I like about this camera and some of the things that I not so much like about it, which is like there's not much things that I don't like about this camera. So for the most part, I love this camera. And yeah, let's get right into it. Let's go ahead and talk about the first question of why I switched from Canon to Sony. Was it because Canon was bad? Because in all your previous videos, John, you were talking about how Canon was amazing. I'll be honest, Canon is amazing. I love Canon and I've been using it for years. However, when I purchased the R6, throughout a few important shoots such as the wedding, I had overheating issues. Now, I've heard that they fixed it, but during those times I experienced those overheating issues. That's a very, very big problem, especially when you're on a shoot that is very, very important. And me experiencing those times, I was like, man, I am tired of this issue. And it happened to me multiple times. That was very important. During those times when my camera overheated, it really showed me that I can't 100% depend on this camera. All my friends were like, dude, you gotta switch to Sony. Sony doesn't have the Sony doesn't have this overheating issue. I was like, okay. So I did some research, asked some friends, and I had a lot of friends who live in Vegas, and for those who don't know, Vegas gets to about 115 degrees. None of them had the overheating issue. So that to me showed that this camera doesn't have that problem. That was one of the reasons why I made the switch. The second reason isn't really like a pushed me over the edge, made this decision 100% going all in. It was more just of a reason to make the switch. It was that all my friends mostly shoot on Sony. When I am working with them on projects and in post-production, it was just so much easier to kind of work with all of the same footage. That to me made it a lot more simple to work with. And I was like, using their camera, I saw the footage and I saw the quality and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I mean, Sony has been known for its low light capabilities. For me, I do a lot of low light production. So I was like, this is literally the camera I need. Let's go ahead and talk about a few things of why I love the Sony A7S III. The first being color science. The color science has grown tremendously over the past few years. I mean, using the Sony A7S II, I always remember there being a green and yellow tint, and now there is none of that tint. The color science has tremendously improved. I'll be honest, I wasn't a good colorist back then, and I still don't think I'm a good colorist today. But this is not a sponsored post. This is just me promoting a great product. Gamut reached out to me and said, hey, we want you to try this base LUT conversion LUT. This is what I'm currently using right now to grade this YouTube video. I think you should go check them out. I think it's amazing, and I'll leave the link below and you can go ahead and check them out. I'm just promoting a good product. The second thing I love about this camera has to be the presets, the 1, 2, and 3 at the top, the dial. I think that's pretty cool because I'm able to switch to different modes that I can create very fast. I can have 1 being slow motion, 2 being like my vlogging or whatever that may be, and I can switch between the 2 really quickly. And with the Canon R6, I wasn't able to go through those presets. I would always have to manually go into the menu system and change it, and that to me took a long time, especially when I'm running gun shooting. And I think that having these presets make it a lot more efficient. Another cool feature that I have not tried out but I think it's really cool that they implement it into the A7S III, is on top of this shoe mount right here, there's these pins. I don't know if you can see it from this camera, but I'll do like a little zoom, B-roll. But I think it's cool that they put that, and what that's used for is Sony made a microphone that goes on top of here, and basically you don't need a 3.5mm cable to run into the microphone. It's cordless, which I think is really cool and really awesome, because I hate having that little cord dangle right here, because sometimes it'd be like, it'll come out and I'd just be like annoyed, and having that just not have a cord and just run to the camera without a cord, I think is really freaking awesome. Although I did hear it is a little pricey, so I'm gonna have to buy one and try it out and let you guys know what my thoughts are on it. One of the things I was impressed with the Sony A7S III was the autofocus. I thought coming in, I was almost worried it wasn't gonna live up to the Canon standards, but it blew my mind. I was doing video in a pretty dark room and my subject was still in focus. There was not really much focus breathing, and it kept focus on the subject, and I was like, wow, this is really good. That's one other thing that really impressed me. So if you are looking into the Sony A7S III and are worried about the autofocus, I can tell you right now that it is amazing. There's not really much cons, now that I think about it. Of course, there are things that this camera can improve on, and I sometimes wish that this camera did have more megapixels, because I do love having photo or photography as a secondary supplement to my videos. I mean, I don't know, like it'd be cool to like be able to blow up some images, and if I was to take some photos on this camera and down the road want to blow it up and just going, oh well, I can't, then I would just need to buy another dedicated photo camera and now carry two cameras. Whereas the Canon R6, I was able to just have one, fairly good at both. It was like a hybrid. Whereas the Sony A7S III was more just focused on video. But yeah, I think I'm just complaining at this point. But there really is no cons on this camera. I think this camera is built pretty much close to perfect. I think there's everything in this camera is amazing, and I don't really see problems with it. So yeah, overall, I just wanted to come on here, share my experience, share my thoughts on this camera. I know this camera is a few years old, but to be honest, it's still, I believe, one of the best mirrorless cameras in 2023 for video. For the size of the camera, for the price of the camera, I think it is amazing for what it can do, the photos it can take. If you guys did enjoy the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and comment down below what video you want to see next, or comment down below if you own a Sony A7S III and how you like it. I'm curious. Or if you're on the fence of buying it. But yeah, I'll be creating more content like this consistently, and I'm excited to see you guys soon.